Hello everyone, welcome to episode 2 of New South Wales Bred, our series where we look at the New South Wales Breeders Challenge Series for 2021. We had episode 1. Look, it rated okay, so we thought we'd come back for more. That's a good sign, isn't it? And we've got some great panellists again for you this week. Of course, as usual, Michael Dumacy, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Paul.
Amanda Rando.
Great to be here.
And as we said last week, the big surprise, the big reveal is we didn't know who our fourth panellist was going to be because it depended on results. Well, we had a winner emerge, and straight away we're on the phone with Security Services. Cameron Har, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Paul.
Mate, big shoes to fill. Blake Jones set a pretty good standard. He set the bar pretty high last week. How do you feel about it? You got him covered?
Yeah, we'll see how we go. Hopefully, we can get over the top of him. But I did learn a bit of my craft off Jonesy when I started off in the Riverina, so we're good mates. See how we go. Good
starting point would make sure that your battery doesn't go flat in the middle of it, I think.
yeah, for sure.
You're obviously in the chair because you had a pretty good week. We're going to get to that soon. But we start off, we were in Parks last week, and Michael Dumacy, great meeting as always, but Pastor Cheval really got things off to a great start. It looked unbeatable in the market, and that's the way it panned out.
She certainly did, Paul. She was very good leading from gate number 5 in her heat. Steve Turnbull, the trainer driver, had a few reservations heading into that Parks heat. She is a filly that can do a little bit wrong, but she got straight around to the front of the pack. He was able to give her a steadier through the middle, and from there she was very, very hard to run down, as we did see in the result. But the Parks track played a little bit leaders biased. I think there's a few runs around the winners that we can probably take out heading into the semis and into the final, but take nothing away from Pastor Cheval.
Amanda, 9 metres the margin, bit of a space job there in the end.
Yeah, it sure was. And, gee, she looked good over the line. She just powered across. She went 159.4, which was pretty solid. She's had a few starts back now this preparation, and I think that was her second win in her 3 starts back this time in. But, no, she was ultra impressive, Paul.
Cam, the betting suggested that she was going to be unbeatable. Did it pan out the way you expected?
Yeah, I think so. She was able to work forward, and they controlled the race really well on the front end. And like Mick said, around Parks, if you can get to the front, you're halfway home. So, she was able to, sprint that last furlong pretty solid and took every other one out of the race, really.
Mick, I believe you've been doing a little bit of French lessons as part of your research into Pastor Cheval. What can you reveal for us?
Well, until the weekend review's out a little bit later on, Paul, we'll see. But, it is a word for, I believe, horse trot in French ballet, something that we will see a little bit on in the weekend review. But, just done a little bit of research, and, Steve Turnbull had no idea, as I did expect. But, we done a little bit of French, and just tidied up on it.
Well, speaking of Steve Turnbull, he had 4 runners in the Colts and Geldings for the 2-year-olds. And, you'd expect a pretty good chance of landing the winner in that. And it was probably the one that we expected. Mitch Turnbull was on board. Baxter Red. Michael, pretty good performance that, wasn't it?
It was a really good performance, Paul. He led all the way. He was pretty similar to Pastor Cheval. Once he got to the lead, he was able to dictate. And once he could dictate, he was always going to be hard to run down. Mitch really only gave him a shake-up in the last 150 metres or so. He was doing it pretty comfortably. He's a big, gangly sort of a horse, and it's good to see Team Red get another nice horse in Baxter Red. They've had some nice horses over the years. I know Cam does a little bit of driving for them, and I know Amanda's parents do a little bit of training for Rod and the crew. So it's really good to see them get a few more horses. I should say Rob and the crew, not Rod. Rob and the crew there.
Amanda, the market couldn't quite split Baxter Red and St. Veron that Amanda Turnbull was on. Did this one play out the way you expected?
Yeah, I think it did. Mitch was pretty determined to find the lead and lead all the way with this horse, and it looked like he was going to get the lead, so it did play out that way. So, yeah, it was a pretty impressive run. His closing quarter was 28.2, and he seemed to win quite comfortably. So, yeah, great for connections, great for Rob. He bred this one as well. He's a little well-fed horse, and, Rob's a great supporter of the industry.
Cam, what's your thoughts on Baxter Red? Did we see a genuine contender come through in that one?
Yeah, for sure. He was really impressive. And, I was lucky enough to win a couple of races on, St. Baron and All Stars Frankie, which were in that race. And I got good opinions of those horses. So, for him to pull away from St. Baron on the, the last probably furlong, the way he did, he's definitely going to be a big contender coming into the semi-finals and hopefully the final.
Well, Cam, the previous night we were at Penrith and there was a script written and you got it in both hands and you tore it up. Everyone was talking about Antonia and you destroyed the party. Chrissy Chick, pretty handy one you had on your hands there, but probably one that no one really saw coming because of the hype around Antonia. What was your thoughts going into that one?
Yeah, I definitely thought she was probably the second pick in the race. She's obviously been proven in the New South Wales and Queensland Oaks where she's raced well. And, obviously Antonia, she's probably just that step above all the horses when she's on her game. But, around Penrith, it's a little bit different racing to Menangle. And I was able to sort of get around and took a bit of catching, and credit to my filly. She really dug in deep up the straight and held off the last couple of challenges. Yeah.
How good do you think she is?
Oh, she's she's really handy. That's for sure. She's got good speed, and she doesn't mind a dogfight as well. Like, she's really tough. So coming into the series, I'm confident. But obviously, I expect Antonia to be better for the run, and she'll definitely bounce back, I'd say.
Amanda, what's your thoughts on this one? Because as we said, and we talked about it in the show last week, everyone was probably the filly that everyone was most looking forward to seeing run, and it was a bit of a surprise to see her go under, wasn't it?
Yeah, I always knew it was going to be tricky from the draw. Drawing that second row at Penrith, you do give your rivals a bit of an upper hand. So it wasn't going to be a walk in the park. I thought Antonia still hit the line well. I spoke with trainer David Thorne following the run, and he was disappointed in the filly, and he actually wasn't 100% happy with the filly going into the race. She's had a few issues with her blood, and she actually tied up after that run. So he's working on that filly now to try and have her right by the next heat at Menangle in a few weeks' time.
Michael, what did we take out of Antonia's performance? It was almost unbackable for this series going into it, but nothing's for certain in racing, is it? And we saw that very early in the series.
I actually I watched the first race there at Penrith on Thursday night and seen Mahomes go down in similar sort of circumstances as Antonia did. And going into Antonia's race, I was just a little bit worried about her in that race. And I'm not saying this because Cam is on the program with us today, but if you wanted to show a young kid coming through how to drive at Penrith in a big race like that, you just take that footage of Cam there in that race. He was able to slot out one out and one back and move around the field, get to the chair and go past the tired horse. And if you can play a little bit of catch me if you can around the 800 metres tracks, it does make it hard. And for Antonia to make up the amount of ground that she had to make up when Chrissy Chick was up on the front end and powering along, it was always going to be a hard task for her. So I really don't take anything away from Antonia only running into third. I probably thought she could have maybe run into second on the corner, but she'll definitely better, as the guy said. Thorny's a master trainer, and he'll get her back to her best. And Chrissy Chick went enormous, and good on Grimo and also and Cam with her.
Look, we talked about Antonia's race, but we also were really, really all excited about what we were going to see with the Colts and Geldings. We thought it was potentially a semi-final type field, and it panned out that way. And punters really narrowed it down to three, but particularly two, Tasty Delight and Rocket Boy, which were the two that we couldn't quite split in the show last week. But the third elect ended up being the one that came and bloused them all, Tishan Raider. We probably should have seen this one coming, shouldn't we, Michael?
No, didn't see it coming at all. I thought that the top two would definitely fight it out with Tasty Delight and also Rocket Boy, especially with the sectionals that they went early. I thought that they both were probably entitled to kick on for the class of horse that Tasty Delight is, and also Rocket Boy. There was a bit of a scrimmage. I'm going to go a bit controversial here. There was a bit of a scrimmage coming at the top of the straight where it looked like the horse that was three wide and the eventual winner, Tishan Raider, come in and collected the inside two horses, Tasty Delight and also Rocket Boy, were inconvenient. So that could have probably enhance the margin a little bit. But I take nothing away from Tishan Raider. He was good. And I'm sure Glenn McElhaney will be in contact with me after I said that. But, he was good, Tishan Raider. But I definitely thought it would have been between Tasty Delight and Rocket Boy. But I think they'll both be still big chances coming into the semis.
Amanda, Glenn was pretty bullish on Tishan Raider after the race. Certainly thought that this is a horse that's going places.
Yeah, he certainly is. His recent record speaks for itself. He's been in top form. He had a really good run. He was in the 1-1. So, and as we said, we knew the fireworks were going to be on early with Tasty Delight and Rocket Boy. So, I personally don't think Tasty Delight was at his best. I didn't think he looked comfortable in his gait, particularly that last lap. And then in the home straight, he did duck in a bit. But, yeah, I thought the first 5 across the line ran a good race. And even saying that about Tasty Delight not looking comfortable, I thought, he ran on well considering those circumstances. And even the 5th horse, our action man for Ricky Olchen, he was super. He was last at the home turn and he ran on to finish 5th. So some good efforts out of that heat.
Cam, what was your thoughts on Tishan Raider? And then if you can reflect on Tasty Delight and Rocket Boy for us.
Yeah, no, he was super, Tishan Raider. Harry's got him flying, and he looks like he's just warming up at the right time of the year. And, he's definitely keeps stepping up every time he goes out. And, he was able to get the good trip in the run, and he took full advantage of that. But for me, Tasty Delight, as Amanda said, he just didn't look comfortable. I don't think he handled the half-mile track that great. It looked like he just got a little bit rough and wobbled around a bit on the home corner there, and that was when Tishan Raider sort of checked him a little bit there. But, Rocket Boy, he really impressed me as well, because it's probably the first time he's really stepped up in that sort of grade against quality horses like those two. So he fought on well at the finish as well.
Certainly a couple there that I think we're going to hear a little bit more from through the series. Look, this afternoon we're at Tamworth. Michael, there's one that I know you've been pretty bullish on over the past few weeks. You certainly pointed it out in the trial form there a couple of weeks ago. That's Chappie Street North will be in action. It's currently odds on in the market. Do you see it delivering on those expectations?
I guess it's that soft spot for John Street North, his sire that I do have. He's been a family stay-in for years and years and years now, and this was his last horse to actually go through the ring. So it makes for a good story, does Chappie Street North, and it's good to see with the Chappells having such a hard time, with Guy Chappell being crook and his son Mitch having the reins. It's just a really a feel-good story to come out of the series. And I do wish them all the best. As a horse, I think he's a really nice horse. 156 and 5 in a trial around Maitland, which is only a tight turning track, and then to come out and go 55 in his last run at Newcastle, I thought was really good. And speaking with Mitch Chappell, he did say that the horse had run 3 or 4 races before he'd even got on the track. He is a horse that can get a little bit above himself. I think that'd be the only concern with him going up to Tamworth, having to make that trip, but they're good horse people, the Chappells, and no doubt he'll get there in fine fettle. Gate number 1, he looks like he deserves to be sure.
Cam, have you seen much of Chappie Street North go round?
Yeah, he's been really impressive. He's, like Mick said, he's run really good time around Newcastle, and, he's come up with the draw at Tamworth. So, I think he's going to take a power of beating.
Amanda, Michael Formosa has got his eyes on this series, and we saw him when the heats were in Tamworth last time round. He took some impressive horses up there and did well. Do you see that's where the challenge to Chappie Street North comes from?
Yeah, well, he's down to drive for Clayton Harmey, and Clayton actually has 4 of the 7 runners in that race. So Clayton's 2 he's got 3 drawn off the front, but he's got 2 drawn in 2 and 3 respectively, and they're St. Crusader and Skyfall Benchmark, and both those horses have been racing in good form. So I think they're the 2 serious challenges for Chappie Street North in that heat.
Okay, well, look, if we move on to the fillies, we've got Flare Up in action for Darren and Brad Elder. Looks unbeatable. Do you think that's the way it's going to play out, Michael?
She should be. She looks a real little professional, Flare Up. She should be leading from gate number 1, and Brad Elder drives that Tamworth track so well. So I'd expect her to just jump on the bunny and lead. Her runs at Newcastle in lead-up races too. This have been good. She showed she can handle the longer journey in the 2030 race at Newcastle last time out. And, yeah, I just think she finds a lead and wins. And there's a couple of other nice ones in it. They'll all be trying their best, but the draw really come down to be a pivotal part in that race.
Amanda, this looks like a campaign that Flare Up's just been eyeing off and ready to go for, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. She's got a really impressive record. She's won 3 of her 4 starts to date and gets a good draw here. Also really like Better a Girl for Adam Regari, and Peter Hedges is taking the drive. This horse, she won at Newcastle last start, beat the boys, and was quite impressive. So, yeah, I like to see how, I think she'd be a bit of a danger in that heat as well.
Cam, can you see Flare Up getting rolled in this one?
Yeah, like Amanda, I really like Better a Girl. I think Flare Up might be, in a bit of trouble there early, and it could nearly get crossed by Better a Girl the way it come out at Newcastle the other day. So definitely going to be an interesting race, and obviously Flare Up's got the draw, but if Better a Girl can get crossed early, it's definitely going to be a good race between those two fillies.
Cam, you're in action later tonight at Penrith for the 2-year-old colts and geldings. You got to try and roll small tees. You got My Ultimate Ronnie, which is every chance, though, don't you?
Yeah, I think he's probably rightfully the second pick in this race, and he's raced well his last couple of starts. I was really impressed with his last run at Penrith. He's had to come 3 wide the last probably 700 and finish that off well. But obviously, small tees has got the draw, and he's a free running type, so it's going to be a tough ask to probably be outside him and beat him. But I definitely think he's not without a show.
Best laid plans, perfect world. How does it set up for you?
Yeah, it's a tricky drawn there. I think I've got to come out hard for 100 meters and just see what happens. You never know coming into that first turn at Penrith. With a few coming out quite quick. If something gets into trouble, I want to be there and ready to strike to maybe find the fence. But we'll just see how we go. But it's a strong race, and it's definitely a good series this year. There's plenty of 2-year-old colts that are going well and all warming up at this time of the year. So looking forward to it.
Amanda, small tees couldn't have done any more really to be prepped up for this one, and clearly, as Cam said, probably looks like the one to beat.
Yeah, he particularly on the draw. He's first up in about a month, and he trialled recently at Penrith, won his trial quite convincingly. So a couple of others around him do have that race fitness edge over the top of him. But, I think with the draw, that's going to take him a long way in this race. Michael,
you on small tees?
I'm going to go one at each way, and it's a stablemate to My Ultimate Ronnie, My Ultimate Skeeter. I really could see myself having something each way on him at the bigger odds. He's going to be coming into gate number 7 now with the scratching of the stablemate and not the champion, but the good horse in My Ultimate Byron. And I can see Skeeter being 3 fence here, and if B. Portelli gets to the lead and decides to cut the ribbons at some stage, I can see My Ultimate Skeeter following the fence through. And in the 800-metre circuits, anything can happen. So quite happy to be with him, just getting that nice soft peg run. But small tees is going to be hard to beat. And speaking with Jared Ouchin yesterday, he did mention that My Ultimate Ronnie will probably be one of his better horses heading into the future. So, it's going to be a really good race and one I'm looking forward to.
Michael, you mentioned Mahomes before. Probably a pretty disappointing performance in the first on the card there at Penrith the other night. Mahomes lines up against these horses again. Where's Mahomes at?
I think he's going to be there. Just the bad draw is going to probably be a little bit of a thorn in his side come the race tonight. But he is a nice horse. I was talking to one of the co-owners, Nick Stanton, and he was mentioning that they were happy with his run last week. It's just the fact that he was 3 wide and 3 and 4 wide and not quite as sharp as he usually is first up the other night. But there's still hope there for Mahomes. He'll get through this heat. If he doesn't come first, second, or third, he'll definitely head to the heat at Tabcorp Park, Menangle, and he's still a massive chance of making the semis and being a real factor in the final.
Well, if Mahomes can deliver, you're going to get great value. One you won't get great value on is Madrid, and Cam, that's what you're on in the fillies race. She looks the real deal, doesn't she?
Yeah, she's definitely got a lot of X factor. She's very exciting to drive, and she's done everything I've asked of her so far, and really impressive run at Menangle to get her ready for the race tonight. So, she has come up with a bad barrier, but I think, she's got the class to overcome that.
What's the plans with Madrid then in that race, given the barrier?
Yeah, we'll just see what the pace is. When you draw the back line at Penrith, it probably just comes down to, a bit of pace and what the tempo is like in the race. But we've got Miss X drawing the back line as well. So, we might be able to tag her into the race depending on if it makes an early move or not, or we might have to go solo if it's up there, in the running early. So we'll just see how it pans out. But I think Let's Party Baby is probably the next hope. She's got a good drawn one, and her run was really good because she had to come first over at Menangle the other day in a quick last quarter trying to chase Madrid. So she's got the advantage with the draw, so she'll take a bit of catching as well.
There's a lot of exciting young horses on the scene at the moment, and you're on a lot of them. Where does Madrid sit in that pecking order, do you think?
I think she's probably up there, towards the top, that's for sure. Miss X has obviously proven that she can, go with the better ones, and Captain's Queen, those two had a good duel earlier in the year, and they look like probably the two top fillies. And, I think Madrid, she's right up there with those couple.
Amanda, that was so impressive, that race at Menangle that Cam referred to. I mean, the margin was almost the length of the straight there at one point. Can you see another similar performance being rolled out this time around?
Yeah. I do. I do. She, fillies to go 26-2 their last quarter at Menangle is pretty impressive. She has got that second row, so it is going to be a bit tougher, but she's a very, very nice type. Nice to see she's by Bling It On too, so she's by Colonial Stallion, and was his first group winner. I also like David Thorne's filly in that field, Miss X as well. And I spoke to David Thorne earlier, and he said this little filly, she just keeps on improving. And she actually finished second in the APG to Captain's Queen. So she definitely has a bit of a record behind her already. So I think she's the main danger to Madrid in this heat.
Michael, where have you got Madrid? How do you rate this young filly?
Oh, definitely got her up there near the top of the tree. I'm a bit of a Captain's Queen fan. She is a very nice filly, Captain's Queen, and I'm definitely a Madrid fan too. I think she's there, and it'll be interesting to see what the instructions are to Cam with Madrid. And I just think she can rip around those Penrith corners the way she does when she does light up at Menangle. They'll be very, very hard up to catch her. Although I do echo the thoughts of Miss X. I'm a believer that she is a very nice filly also. So Madrid's right up there. Miss X is right up there. I think they'll be two big players come semi-final, final time.
Michael, one that we haven't seen for a while, last raced in April, is I Can Fly for Lucky Lodge and the Morrises. What can we expect from I Can Fly after such a long time out?
You can definitely expect her to be fit. Kerry Ann will have her right up and ready to go. Her and Rob always send their horses to the races in picture-perfect condition. Gate number 6 is just going to be a little bit too hard. I think for her, it'll be interesting to see where she does come from the front line. There is a little bit of speed drawn inside of them. I think the one horse, which is Let's Party Baby, will nearly dictate to how the races run if she can hold up from the inside. But definitely expect her to see her improve off whatever she does there tonight.
Amanda, no doubt we're blessed with another couple of great race mates, aren't we, with the Breeders' Challenge tonight and this afternoon.
Yeah, we sure are. There's some just top quality young horses going around, and great to see that they're all bred in New South Wales.
Cam, what are you most looking forward to?
I'd have to say my Ultimate Byron. You've all seen him at the track. He's quite an exciting horse, and it just gives me plenty of confidence when I'm driving him that he can win in any situation, and he's got toughness and speed and everything else. So really looking forward to the series with him.
Okay, Michael, how does it play out this afternoon? Give us your kiss of death.
The kiss of death. Poor old Rocket Boy copped it last week, so we're not going to put the kiss of death on Madrid. I'm just going to have that play on My Ultimate Skeeter each way in the 2-year-old Colts and Geldings heat there at Penrith tonight. I just think he can track through, and at the good place the price even. I think he's a good each way bet. But really looking forward to seeing Chappie Street North go around in a few hours' time. I'm on the bandwagon there with Mitch Chappell, and I echo the thoughts of Amanda. It's great to see that we have so many nice juvenile horses coming through. They're all New South Wales bred, and with Cam coming from the Riverina, it has a real Riverina flavour to it also, with Jared Ouchin being from Temora, Ray Walker being from Temora. They've both got Mr. Ray and My Ultimate Byron respectively, and also Cam coming from Junee and flying that flag for Junee. And I know there'll be two people sitting up in Junee at the moment enjoying this coverage, being his mum Michelle and his dad Mark, who are great supporters of harness racing down in that area. So just great to see a really good flavour from the country areas shining on through.
Absolutely. Michael, thanks for joining us with your expertise once again. Amanda Rando, same to you. Brilliant as always. And to Cam Hart, thanks for giving up your time. Obviously, we know you're driving tonight. Best luck there at Penrith, and no doubt we'll see you very prominent in the finish of both those Breeders' Challenge events.
Thanks, Paul.
Fantastic to have you with us. Thanks to everyone who's tuned in and joined us for this episode of New South Wales Bred. We'll be back next week. We'll bring you the wrap-up of how it plays out this afternoon at Tamworth and tonight at Penrith. So we'll see you then. See you next week. Bye-bye.